here at WAND Radio strive to bring you the very best entertainment the High Academy for the Celestial and the Occult has to offer.
The Academy would like to remind our listeners that unicorns and other virtuous beings should enjoy WAND Radio at their own risk.
The management is not responsible for the continued purity of your unicorn. Thank you.
Listening to WAND Radio, your musical muse for magical moments. Live from the High Academy for the Celestial and the Occult. I am your host, Calliope Merriweather, and joining me are my co-hosts,
Rupert von Koenig.
And I am the Prince of Prepping, the Popper of Preparedness. They call me ready for not much at all, really. I am Emmett.
And we have a special guest with us in the studio today. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
Hello, everyone. You've heard of me a few times on the show, I believe, but I am Dr. Heather.
Welcome, Dr. Heather. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you, Calliope.
Likewise.
What about me? That's kind of rude.
You don't go here.
You're not a student.
I've spent more time with Dr. Heather than any of you have, and not for the reason some people seem to think.
Only because you audited my class 6 times. I'm still not entirely sure why you did that.
There was a girl in the class that I wanted to get to know.
Oh, Emily. Yeah, she failed 6 times. That's why you kept coming back.
She was the reason that he failed. Wait, he was the reason that she failed. I messed up that joke.
It's possible.
Now, I've never, ever gotten in the way of anyone's academic pursuits. I do not do that.
All right, then.
Academic pursuits. That's an interesting euphemism.
I'm being serious here.
Okay. Apologies.
School is too important. I don't want to get in the way of anyone's schooling. I help people study all the time. I mean, they usually get it wrong. Maybe that's it. I helped her study too much.
Could be.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, I mean, Professor Heather does teach anatomy, so I'm sure you did study her anatomy very closely.
All those late-night cram sessions.
I didn't, actually. That's about the same time I met Candy.
Ah. So she was just heartbroken then?
No, she really wasn't. Do we have questions? Why are we harping on me? What the hell just happened with this episode?
School announcements. Are you prepared for emergencies?
No,
do you have
not
a plan
this one.
in case of... Of course not. Do you have a plan in case of planar rifts, earthquakes, or inclement weather? Come to the Bug Out Bag seminar being held in the cafeteria on Wednesday evening and learn how to prepare the best emergency stash that you can.
I don't know if that language is appropriate anymore now that the chitin have arrived here.
Oh, it's fair. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That's a very fair point, actually.
You know, bug out, bug-eyed.
Well, they're a very interesting species, I will say.
Roach coach. All of these are all...
Creepy crawlies. Yeah.
They're all kind of horrible language now. We gotta watch that, yeah. I'm sure there's some tabaxi stuff out there, too, that we need to be careful of.
Oh, I can't even begin to tell you. All of the cat jokes. Every cat joke you can imagine.
Did they rub you the wrong way? I'm sorry, that was...
Be careful or this cat'll get your tongue.
Let's take a question.
Questions are good.
Alrighty,
I'm gonna bring in an inflatable raft, and so next time that everyone starts harping on me and just me, I'm just gonna pop that sucker and duck out the door. I think that'll work really well.
Alright, you just get a foldable bolt and just... Psh.
Ooh, I wonder if that'll work on my sister.
Alright, dear WAND, the sun bakes them.
Hey, Dr. Heather, did my sister take your class?
Missy did take my class. She passed it the first time.
How'd you... Yeah, I figured.
Why do you ask?
Just curious.
Well, to be fair, Emmett, I guess you didn't actually officially sign up for the class, so you couldn't really have passed it. But yes, Missy did pass it. She did very well.
Yeah, no, but she does everything. She passes everything when she does.
She paid attention.
Yeah. I know. She always does. Pays attention, does her homework, passes tests, gets good jobs, impresses our parents, whatever.
You have a very good job, too.
So, what's the question?
Dear W-A-N-D, the sun bakes them, the hand breaks them, the foot treads them, the mouth tastes them. What are they?
Snakes.
Signed, Do You Sphinx You Know?
That's a cat joke.
Are we getting riddles now?
Apparently.
I guess.
They're snakes.
I don't think they're... snakes.
The sun bakes snakes, the hand breaks snakes, the foot treads on snakes. That would make sense. The mouth tastes snakes?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it totally does.
That's fair.
I don't want to eat snakes.
I don't either. Now, chasing them is one thing. Eating them, though.
Well, if you put them in your mouth, you'll taste them. You can break them with your hand. I would say you taste them when you give them like kisses and stuff, not when you're like eating them.
That's true.
And then the sun bakes them. That's what they want, is the sun to bake them. And then there's that big flag that says, "Don't tread on me." It's got that snake on it.
Damn, you're making too much sense.
See? That's what it is. It's
What?
Wait, it's grapes.
Mm-hmm.
there might be a better answer.
Grapes. The sun bakes them into raisins. The hand crushes them. The foot can tread on them to make wine. And the mouth tastes them. They're edible.
How is that any different than what I said?
You actually want to put grapes in your mouth?
I have to agree with Calliope on that one. I don't feel like putting a snake in my mouth.
People eat snakes, though, too.
Yes, but usually not sun-baked.
What are those, Calliope?
What?
They just appeared next to you.
Oh, hey, look at that!
Who sent this question in?
I don't know, but they gave me grapes and I'm happy.
Could the next riddle be about 1 million gold, please? There's a few rods and staves that I would like to acquire.
That'd be nice. Dear Riddle Maker, please send us more riddles that conjure neat things. Preferably, with monetary value. Thank you for the grapes. They are greatly appreciated. Who wants some? I've got red and green.
I am not eating anything that magically appears inside of this this place.
Oh, they're the cotton candy grapes.
Oh, good God. You can get those for like 1 week out of the year if you're lucky.
I know. You guys want some?
No, thank you.
Here you go.
Sure.
I still think that this could be snake.
It could be snakes.
Where are my grapes? I mean, Emily was a gith, you know? Anyway, move on.
Oh, was your favorite activity with Yankee? How about this next question? I think we got the first one right.
You know, it's real hard to be able to speak openly with Dr. Heather here. Who invited her?
You did.
Yeah, I know. I thought it'd be fun.
I think it's fun.
I didn't think I was going to be here this week. That's why.
Ah, I see. That's a fair point.
Oh, that's fair.
I just graduated my Ranger's Companion 300 course and now have a panther friend named Princess Nightpaws, first of her name. Only problem is, no one told me what she eats. Do I feed her the blood of my enemies? Also, how long should I walk her for? Signed sincerely, did not come with instructions.
It be whatever a panther eats. What does a panther eat?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're going to have a choice about the blood of your enemies thing. I mean, I think that's just going to kind of happen naturally.
That's true. Every time that Princess Nightpaws bites anyone, it's going to happen. I would say meat, because she's panther. Also, why is the radio station next door so loud?
It's one of the Bardic colleges. They have their own station and they try to drown us out from time to time.
We're coming up on the annual Battle of the Bands. They're probably practicing for that.
Oh, that's true.
Very rude. I'll have to complain to their advisor for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that would be very nice.
You're welcome.
I think it's only coming through your mic, though.
Do panthers have a specific, aside from just meat, is there like a specific dietary requirement? Like, do they go towards specific animals that they would probably prefer?
Yes, fiberglass insulation.
What? I'm so confused right now.
It's a brand of fiberglass insulation. Pink Panther.
Oh.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Oh. I just thought somebody had an accident with some prestidigitation on their animal companion. I was really confused.
And by the way, that was a joke. Please, anyone listening to this, do not feed your panther a fiberglass insulation.
No, that's definitely a very bad idea.
Also, something about an anteater. Wasn't there something about an anteater and the Pink Panther in the cartoon? I can't remember.
Yes, in the shorts.
Wait, they put the anteater in his shorts?
Oh, God.
That long tongue. It's very niche crowd.
Very noodly.
Okay, then.
Okay. I mean, personally, I think the blood of your enemies sounds like a tasty and refreshing beverage to go along with the whatever meat that you might feed your panther.
That's that brand of sangria you like.
Perhaps the flesh of your enemies.
Yeah, the flesh.
Is that the gravy? Does it make itself when you pour the kibble in, the panther kibble, and you just make gravy with the blood of your enemies?
And the flesh. The flesh of your enemies is perfect.
That's true.
How about the bones of your enemy?
As long as they're not cooked, because once you cook them, they can splinter as they chew on them.
Oh, all right.
Alrighty. Shall we move on to the next question? Dear WAND, can you ask for the answers to Professor Heather's next test? Signed, Sincerely Too Tired to Study. No.
Emily, you can't keep sending those things in.
Yeah, I don't know who that's from, but the answer is no. You can't have the questions to my next test. Which, by the way, will be in 2 days. So hopefully you have time to study during that 2 days.
Too tired to study. The answer is yes, we can ask, but we won't.
I appreciate that.
So what tips do you have for people who need to study fast then, Rupert?
We need to study fast. Flashcards?
You've had to do your share of cramming, I hear.
Yes, this is true. Flashcards are usually best. You can post them on your mirror when you're getting ready in the morning, kind of test yourself. Chunking is really good. You study in small bits and break them up with various other activities, so that way you can more easily encode and digest the information. It encodes it into your long-term memory. You can also write it down, take your notes by actually handwriting them as opposed to typing. It works much better for you to remember what you have actually written than what you have typed, because
So what happens if your handwriting looks like vomit?
That is an oddly... it's probably a leaky pen.
Okay.
Why?
I'm just curious. Because my handwriting don't look good, so I don't... When I'm working on learning things, it's hard for me when I do it by writing.
Have you tried switching hands?
Yes. It looks worse.
There is a quill of transcription that as you speak to it, it takes notes. You might try that.
No, I saw that in that movie. In Harry Potter, it was very obnoxious. I did not want to use that.
But that's only because it lied.
Did it?
Yes, it was rather egregious in its factual veracity. I read a thesaurus this morning.
Sure. Sounds like you ate a thesaurus this morning. I was going to say, so as long as you are cramming, chucking, or vomiting, one way or the other, you're going to get the facts.
Yeah, also don't eat a thesaurus. That's a very bad dietary decision.
Yeah, it's very fibrous, but not tasty at all.
That's true. It is high in fiber, but yeah, it's maybe with a lot of hot sauce, but even then, I'm not sure.
I did accidentally eat a dictionary once. It was the thesaurus my throat ever felt.
Oh my lord.
Then he had to have his appendix out.
It is Adopt a Shelter... you know what, Dr. Heather, why don't you take this one, since you're here?
It is Adopt-A-Shelter Pet Month. Nothing adds warmth to a welcome home like a wagging tail, tentacles, and a warm pair of brown eyes. If you are considering adding a pet to your household, visit the Sentient Peoples for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Society, where adoption counselors can assist you in selecting a suitable beast to meet your lifestyle preferences. It's very important to get a suitable one. Maybe you would get along with a flumph, or maybe a cockatrice would fit the bill. To see our available adoptees, meet them in person at our offices.
Is that the shelter where you can take them out of the enclosures and spend time with them?
Yes, it is. Although, depending on which creature you're interviewing with, they do have some safety measures they put in place.
Of course.
Yes, you can visit their website, sppca.org.
Perfect, thank you, Dr. Heather. This show is proudly supported by Die Hard Dice, purveyors of...
Woohoo, Die Hard Dice! Sorry.
Purveyors of fine polyhedral... It's fine. You're excited. You should be excited, because the dice are gorgeous. I'm looking at a pair of battle-worn copper. Not a pair, a set of battle-worn copper. Of course, I might have a pair of battle-worn copper between...
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're nice and heavy in the hand. They're not too sharp on the edges. They have a nice heft to them. So when you roll and they hit the table, they thunk very satisfactorily.
That's true. Also, I will say the the rounded edges and corners does make it nice if you happen to knock them off a table. Less damage to the floor.
And the new colorways, though, oh my gosh, those sinister emeralds that they just came out with. Oh, I want them so bad. They're so gorgeous. I love them.
Those were very nice.
But you know what? I know an easy way for me to get them is that I can use the coupon code WandRadio when I check out buying them for 15% off. So that is excellent for me when I visit dieharddice.com.
Phenomenal.
For our listeners, we're doing a contest this month where you can win a set of dice from Die Hard Dice. All you have to do is tweet or post on Facebook to us and say what you like about our show and use the hashtag WandHard, or post on the Nerdsmith Facebook page with a comment saying WandHard and why you like us, and then you'll be entered in to win our drawing, which will be done at the end of the month.
Speaking of Nerdsmith, who are they? They sound interesting.
Ooh. Emmett, tell us about Nerdsmith.
Are they that new frat that's just started up on campus?
No.
No.
Oh, all right. Then they must be that nerdy entertainment of awesome shows that we belong to.
That is true.
Got it. Okay. So Nerdsmith is a nerdy entertainment network. You can find them at nerdsmith.org, and you can see a bunch of other amazing creators over there making all sorts of shows that we love to be associated and affiliated with, and all those other ideated shows like Chaotic Goodness, Champions of the Earth, and some of our new shows like Tooth and Nail, which has got a couple of great guys that like to talk about all the creatures that exist in our world, and specifically in that monster manual thing that somebody published, that glossary that I think I've seen that in Professor Heather's classroom, and it's they like to talk about all sorts of cool things there, so you should go check them out. All that can be found at nerdsmith.org.
Yep, they are amazing, and if you are captivated by the art of monstercraft, you should absolutely go check out Tooth and Nail, a monstrous podcast. Orion and Travis are wonderful guys, and we love our bugbears, and you gotta search out that perfect bugbear encounter, and they are on par with that, okay?
I'm sorry, did you say wonderful guys?
Guys. Wonderful guys.
Well, it's technically true.
But, you know where you could actually potentially meet them? And some of our other Nerdsmith folks, right?
WonderCon!
Oh, that's right. We're doing that thing at WonderCon, aren't we?
WonderCon!
We will be visiting the Prime Material Plane the last weekend of March for WonderCon in Anaheim, California. It's going to be a great time. We're actually going to be having a Nerdsmith meetup on Saturday night at the... Which hotel was it?
It's the host hotel, the Hilton.
The Hilton. Perfect. So, yes, we'll be meeting there. Come and rub elbows with some of your favorite cast members and crew members as well. Great chance to meet up with the talent, as it were.
Yeah, I will be there, and Dr. Heather will be there, and Rupert and Emmett will be there as well. So we are looking forward to meeting you all. Lastly, I'd like to do a really quick shout out to our listener at LegoSonic24 on Twitter, also known as Kai. Thank you for listening, and we really appreciate you following us and retweeting our stuff. If you want a shout out from Wand Radio, be sure to interact with us on Twitter or on Facebook.
Like sending us a question or suggesting a magic item. Use the, just at us, at wand_radio, or use the hashtag wandradio, which is also our coupon code. That is rather fortuitous. Okay.
Yes, it is. And that way, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
All right, let's get back to it then.
Back to the questions. Dr. Heather, what is your doctorate in? Signed, Sincerely Curious.
Oh, one directed at me. Let's see. My doctorate is in the anatomy and physiology of monstrous beasts with an emphasis in monstrous husbandry.
That is awesome.
Husbandry, so... I didn't know you were married.
No. Monstrous husbandry. Breeding monstrous creatures.
Ah, yes. Sorry, I misheard you.
Do you have a favorite type of monster that you like to breed or care for?
Well, honestly, the ones I like are the ones that are most challenging. So the displacer beasts and the blink dogs definitely make things interesting.
Oh, all right.
That sounds fantastic.
Have you tried mating gelatinous cubes?
That's not my specialty, but I do have a colleague who has. She said it's very difficult because you can't tell where one stops and the other one begins.
I imagine that would make things rather hard, yes.
Or very soft. How do you sex a gelatinous cube?
It's the, if you look at the skeletons inside, it's the width of the hips.
Carefully. The females have a little more wiggle in their jiggle.
Oh, wait. Are those technical terms?
No, they're not. But they are effective in getting the point across.
Maybe the females have that kind of hourglass cube shape. They kind of sink in the middle a little.
A 36-24 holy shit.
More curves, rounded corners.
Oh my goodness. Dear Dr. Heather, I recently got a displacer beast kitten. Oh, your favorites. I know that they are a carnivore in the wild, but I think an animal this smart would know the value of eating vegetarian like me. How do I acclimate my kitten to eating a sustainable veggie diet?
I detest this question for so many reasons. Okay. I cannot stress it enough. Emmett, you've heard it 6 times since you've audited my class. Displacer beasts are obligate carnivores. They have to eat meat if you want it to live. So the answer is you can't. Feed it meat and stop being stupid.
Yeah. They are oblivious carnivores.
Obfuscated carnivores sometimes, but not oblivious.
Damn, that was a better joke. I should have said obfuscated carnivores.
But yes, the answer, Anonymous, is don't do it.
You know what? Put down the veggies, put down the meat, and see which one they prefer. If they're that smart and want to be vegetarians, then they'll start being vegetarians. And then if not, well, I mean, that's evolution.
An Occam's razor situation. Well, actually, technically, you could continue trying to feed it veggies. Just don't be surprised when it decides you're its meal.
That sounds like a potential problem, yes.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Only for the person who tried to feed veggies to the cat.
Is Occam's razor also known as Maroon's razor?
It might have been called that once or twice.
Okay, just wondering.
Dear Juan and Dr. Heather, I am sorry for my roommate who is overly curious.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to ask, would any of you consider as an assistant? I am looking for a job to help pay for college, and I'm willing to do anything. Sorry again, but I had to ask.
But is your department doing work-study programs?
I'm not sure. I do know the veterinary biology department is looking for a few TAs, but I'm not sure what your focus is in, so I can't really direct you to who to ask. We have a few. It's a very high turnover rate.
What's causing the folks to leave the positions?
They're getting eaten?
Sometimes. Also just general bodily injury, and there's a lot of people who don't like cleaning up after a boulet.
That makes a lot of sense.
Is it named Robert?
One of them is. The other's Roberta, because the person who found them couldn't think of anything better.
That's a different ability that I've heard of.
I love it.
That's some big shit.
Literally. It's actually dwarfed several of the students who've gone to clean up the cages before.
They turned them into dwarves?
No.
I don't know, shit that can turn people into dwarves, that's pretty good.
No, they were gnomes, and it was taller than they were.
Oh, I see. Well, I do know somebody who is looking to hire some help. Hasn't been able to find anybody that can stomach the job. But Cookie is looking for someone to help him clean in between his wrinkles.
Isn't that a Cards Against Humanity card? Scrubbing beneath the folds.
It might be. It's very possible.
I have no idea. I'm sure it is.
Oh, that's an interesting job offer, Emmett.
Hey, I'm just saying, he's looking to pay. I think he's paying like 12 gold a week. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's not bad. I can actually think of a few veterinary students who might be interested.
It isn't... Okay. Are you sure that the people weren't turned into dwarves?
Fairly certain. We don't have any creatures that can do that I'm aware of. We did have one of the cockatrices turn someone to stone one time. Luckily, we caught it before it was their whole body. She unfortunately is missing a leg, but she hops along okay. Cassidy made it all right.
Fair enough. I was going to say, if you did have a belay that was turning people into dwarves, you could call it a belay of dwarven kind.
Hey, dear Dr. Heather, do you have any crazy stories about when you were a student? Signed, Nosy Gnome. Oh, maybe this is the roommate that he is apologizing for. Or they are apologizing for.
It could be. Let's see. Crazy stories. Well, since it was legalized, I guess it's all right for me to tell you, there were some times that myself and some of the other students got into a little too much catnip. I don't recommend that if you have a study test the next day, especially if it's in anatomy, because some of those drawings are very interesting when you're distracted. Also, one of my friends ended up somehow attached to the ceiling, drinking from a upside-down bowl of pink milk, and we don't know what was in the pink milk, so I'm not entirely sure where that came from.
Now, my question is, what was in the catnip?
I'm not entirely sure. It might have been cut with something. That's entirely possible. Blight shale, maybe.
That sounds like a terrible combination. Dear Dr. Heather, do tabaxis share the same grooming habits as your cat cousins? Signed, Sincerely Overly Nosy. Goodness gracious, these questions.
They're rude.
You would be surprised how often we get asked this by people who haven't met tabaxis very often. The short version is only to an extent. To be perfectly blunt, we're not quite as flexible as a normal cat. Something about walking upright changed the shape of our spines, so we can't lean down and groom ourselves everywhere anymore. And to be perfectly honest, it's probably a good thing, because if we could, we'd have a lot fewer breeding males.
Yeah. I agree.
That was beautiful.
Brilliant.
Who would like a magic item?
I'll take it, why not?
Hey, here you go. It's a wand. You might like it.
Perfect. Right up my alley.
What's wrong with your alley?
Oh, you know. Thomas O'Malley.
O'Malley the alley cat. Don't sue us, Mouse Overlord, please.
So, it has it's an interesting wand, but it has this little knobby thing on the side. Right in the middle.
It looks like a penis?
No, it doesn't. It looks like a wand.
Well, what does that have to do with my knob?
Oh, I think it's the activation button.
Okay, here we go.
Why are you pointing that at me?
Sorry. Okay, point it right at the ceiling. How about that?
Is it emitting a light spell?
Looks like it. Very focused. I don't know, but it moves wherever I move the.
Like a little sort of red dot.
It's
What
it's like
is that?
What is the point of this? Maybe it's just a point.
Why is it?
I don't know.
Put it on the floor, Rupert.
Here you go.
I can't stop following it. What is this?
It's a wand of tabaxi control. Highly niche, but very effective.
What is going on? Calliope, where did this item come from?
Why are your eyes so dilated?
I'm sure I have a few students that would love to have that.
Emmett. Ugh, what was that? It's worse than a charm spell.
Worse or better?
So Calliope, where did you want me to send you that book that you wanted to look at before we finish editing it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say it again?
Where did you want me to send that file that you were going to help one of the students edit? And do you want me to edit it, or should I just send it to you?
Just give it to me raw.
All right, I'll just give it to you raw. Oh.
If you like to learn but you don't have the time to find out the reason or look up the rhyme, don't let your question just sit on the shelf. Submit your queries to Geek Thyself. Hello everyone, this is Heather from the Geek Thyself podcast. If you'd like to learn more, you can find me at nerdsmith.org or wherever you download podcasts. And until then, don't forget to geek thyself.